Hey everyone, and welcome back to Lost Video. In this episode, I'm going to be joined with my buddy Austin, where we're going to be ranking all 12 of the Friday the 13th movies from worst to best and talking about them along the way. Now, because of COVID, we have to use Zoom, so I apologize for any quality issues when it comes to video and audio, but I promise you the content is worth it. You can go to lostvideo.com for the official rankings, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel, help us out, and let's give Austin a call up and start getting at these rankings.
So this is going to be the official Lost Video rankings of the Friday the 13th series. Austin, my buddy's here, and we're going to be going from our worst pick, so from 12 all the way down to our best pick, and we're actually going to be showing ours at the same time. I don't know what his picks are. He doesn't know what my picks are. So what we're going to be doing is each time we're going to count down, we're going to show our pick, and then we're just going to be talking about the movies and what we love and hate about these picks. And I'm sure I'm going to probably rage a lot if Austin disagrees with any of my picks, because I am Friday the 13th is my favorite slasher series of all time, and obviously I get a little worked up when it comes to it.
Right. I'm more of a Nightmare on Elm Street, I think, is probably my favorite. This is actually my first I going through this, because we should say that we decided to do this not because Friday the 13th is coming, but also Scream Factory just released this amazing box set here that's been pretty, if you click Blu-rays, it's pretty like people know about it, but outside of that community, which is very niche, I guess, it's not as big of a deal. But this is huge. They got all 12 movies plus another Blu-ray that has special content on it, and it's a great release. If you collect Blu-rays, you should check it out. Maybe.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the bonus features yet. I'm actually waiting till Friday the 13th to watch 1 to 4, and then I'm going to be doing all the bonus features after it. So, but I have been watching a couple, because you forced me to watch some of the post-'80s ones, which I typically don't watch. So, but yeah, let's dive in. So let's get our worst pick. So this is our least favorite Friday the 13th. This is going to be ranked 12th, so worst in the series for us. So as we'll get it, I'll count down from 3, and on 1 we'll show it. All right. So 3, 2, 1, boom. No, you fuck. As if. No way.
This is the worst one.
No.
This is the worst one. Okay, let me explain.
Okay, go ahead.
This one is just so boring. It's so boring. It should be called Jason Takes a Cruise, because the movie, it says Jason Takes Manhattan. Sorry, it's number 8, part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. And the problem with this movie is that he doesn't get into Manhattan until the last, third of the movie, and is not there for very long. I like how grungy New York City looks in it. I love that bit. But there's no really good kills except for one in New York where he punches the dude's head off. That's fucking amazing. But everything leading up to it, that the whole the dad teacher character, go fuck yourself. I hate that shit. I just found it boring. At least some of these other ones that are most of these movies, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed myself watching them, but a lot of them are bad. There's a lot of bad movies in this, but at least some of them were fun. And this one, I couldn't find the fun in it except for choice moments. That's why I put it as my last.
So with one thing I'll say about Takes Manhattan is the cruise ship, the boat is so small, yet it has big ass rooms in it and ballrooms and party rooms and shit's where the fuck are they putting all these goddamn rooms? It's a little tour around the lake boat has all that, but mine, Jason X. So this is the right answer, by the way. But so it is the least successful film of the whole franchise. It actually performed the worst. It's like a placeholder film too. They just kind of made it so that they could keep Jason relevant for Freddy vs. Jason to come out, and until that could come out. And yeah, it's horrible. I get some people oh, it doesn't take itself serious and all that kind of shit, but it's just so boring. There's honestly, for a film that with that big a budget to not even have good kills in it, and it's not even funny. There's no good kills. It's not gory at all. It's really fucking lame. The only good kill in it was the sleeping bag kill at the very end, which is hilarious. That's also a really funny one. But it kind of rips off what the not New Blood. I think it's that they have a sleeping bag kill in New Blood. But yeah, I don't know. Jason X. It's just the furthest thing from why I love the Friday 13th movies, and it's just a big old. It just fucking sucks.
It gets pretty gory though. Like it gets gory when he freezes that chick's head.
That's the only kill.
Ashes. No, then there's a sleep bag kill, and then there's that guy who kind of looks like Timothy Chalamet, but if Timothy Chalamet smoked a lot of weed.
Yeah, that's just it's just not good. Man.
And he gets like cut in half. The thing about that movie was it feel like it doesn't feel like a studio released that movie. Like it feels like like a bad Star Trek episode or like a bad like Xena the Warrior Princess like quality like in space.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like Friday 13th.
There's so many funny scenes in that movie though. Like when Jason is flying through space and he's going into orbits. Like,
I didn't laugh at all. I was just like miserable. It's like it's the one that even when it came out when I was younger, I fucking hated it so much. And like I said, I'm pretty sure it got filmed and it sat around for a couple of years because it couldn't get released or didn't get released. And then I think they put it out because they've been trying forever to make the Freddy vs. Jason one, and they were just trying to keep. Yeah. I think since Jason Takes Manhattan, they were trying to keep the series relevant until they could do that movie. And they just did this fucking. I'm pretty sure it's the same people, the same producers that did Jason Takes Manhattan all the way to Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, it's pretty sure. Sean Cunningham guy.
Yeah, and
I was reading about Jason X that they wanted to make something that didn't affect Freddy versus Jason because they didn't know how to bring him back from hell.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Jason Goes to Hell, but they didn't want to fuck up anything that could potentially fuck up the whole lore.
Yeah, but
we put him in space, and it's something that Leprechaun did. The Leprechaun series, they put him in space, which I haven't seen, but apparently it's hilarious. They did it in Hellraiser. It's kind of like it's kind of the last ditch effort for a lot of films and horror franchises to put them in space. I'm surprised that Nightmare on Elm Street doesn't have a space one, and it sucks now because Robert Englund's just so fucking old. But anyway,
but so that's 12. That's our worst pick. The next pick,
okay,
we're gonna do in 3, 2, 1. I got Takes Manhattan.
Okay, so you got so upset.
Jason X is not even in your fucking top 2 worst ones. Oh
no,
my
no, it's
God.
not. It's the worst. The second worst one. I have Part 5. Have you watched Part 5? This movie is.
I just watched it last night. That was one of the first Friday the 13th I watched as a kid.
Oh my God, this movie is fucked up. There's a manic fucking energy to this movie. It's like someone like railed a bunch of speed and decided to make a fucking and you think like there's a huge like contingency of people who love this movie, like unironically they fucking love this movie. It was actually directed by a porn director.
Yeah, there's I think it has like the most nudity out of all the films.
I mean, it probably has the best nudity out of the films, to be fair.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that, but yeah, it has the best. But it's also, I'm not to spoil anything. I'm going to spoil a movie that's fucking over almost 30
No,
years.
yeah, just who gives a
Jason's not the fucking killer in this. There's some guy like masquerading, pretending to be Jason.
But that's kind of what I liked. The reason why I liked that movie, for one, it also has a ton of kills. The kills are like really unoriginal. There's not really like gory.
Yeah,
by that time, Nightmare on Elm Street, like Dream Warriors was coming out and shit like that. So like they should have, like you would think. That's my issue with like 6, 7, and 8 is that I love Friday the 13th, but by then they weren't taking enough like they weren't jumping the creativity with kills, and this one had a lot of kills in it. But I also like that they try to do, unlike Jason X, they try to do something fresh or something like that with it, and it actually has one of the most plausible storylines out of all the Friday 13th, and I actually put a twist in it, and I think it's just really badly executed. Like I actually really like the premise of that whole movie. I always have. I like how they all set it up. It's just.
What's the deal with that neighbor, that crazy fucking neighbor and her hillbilly? There's a lot of humor in it that works only it doesn't work in the intended way that the movie makers were trying to make it work. Because the humor is like it's trying to be funny and it's like that's not funny, but they're trying in such a weird fucking like that's why I say it's like someone smoked crystal meth and made this movie because it doesn't make any sense.
No. That's why I said like the premise is really good and it's just not very well executed.
And the actor who plays Corey Feldman's older
Tommy, Tommy,
so serious, and he actually became a born again Christian after that film. So he doesn't come into the 6th one. We can talk about that when we talk about 6. But yeah, I don't know.
I understand why again, I also have maybe like a little bit of a connection to it because it was one of the first ones that I saw.
Right.
It isn't very good, but like the one thing that always upset me about that movie is because I felt that if they would have done that right, it probably would have been one of the better Friday the 13th. And I think it would have had like even more of a cult following than it does now, just because instead of doing something so fucking outrageous and trying to liven up the series and do something fresh, they actually stayed true to what Friday the 13th is really about, and they actually did something that could have really worked. You just had a kid get slaughtered at a mental institution, and all the time his dad's coming back for revenge to kill everyone. And
it's such a weird thing because they show that at the beginning of the film too. Like it's not even like it happens. Like it's like the killer gets like birthed from that thing that happens. Like not even at the very beginning. Sorry, it's like a quarter way into the movie.
No, it's right at the beginning.
It's pretty close to the beginning.
It's like within the first 10 minutes.
The very beginning is Corey Feldman. They brought Corey Feldman back, and he's having like
that's like a dream sequence though. And
yeah,
it's like 2 minutes long.
Yeah. Anyway. And then also, you brought up Jason Takes Manhattan again.
Yeah,
so I want to say that I have my own personal rankings of a different kind of thing, where this movie, where it is a shit movie, it does rank in the second best hair out of any.
Yeah, the rocker chick and her, like, I love it how she's like rocking out with an amp in like that boiler room and it's not plugged into anything.
Yeah.
Just like laying into it. Yeah, and I don't know, like Jason Takes Manhattan for one has one of the coolest covers of the whole series.
That is a cool cover.
And
maybe shit.
Again, it's one of those ones too. I don't know, for whatever reason, like sometimes when I binge them, like 1 through 8, when it gets like Takes Manhattan, it actually like revives me a bit for some reason. I don't know. Sometimes it works. It's also because usually I'm the drunkest by that point, so like I kind of like it. But yeah, it is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, because I also never was like a huge fan of 6 and 7. I'm warming up to them a little bit more now. But now that, because I haven't watched them I've watched them quite a bit, but I usually like watch 1 to 4 a lot, or 8 or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
But because that's all I had on VHS for so long. But yeah, I agree. Take Manhattan's a little bit of a turd, but I still really like busting it out, and I'd definitely prefer to watch it over Jason X. But
that's a wrong.
So let's do that. And this next one was a little bit hard for me, but yeah, we'll get into it in a second. So 3, 2, 1. This is the 10th pick. So New Beginning. Okay, so our top 3 is like
they're all kind of conjoined. It's just we have them ranked.
And like I said, I actually like. It sucks because I really did like this movie, especially growing up. Like it was the one that was like, for whatever reason, I always had access to, and it had, well, probably because of the most nudity. I was a kid and I fucking loved that. But yeah, it just, I don't know. I do really like it, but I watched it again last night, and I probably watch it like once a year or something like that. But I watched it again last night after watching a lot of them, and are like separately. Usually I would do a marathon. This was the first time that actually just watched one a day. So I had like time to like digest things a little bit. And then as I was watching one a day, I was able to gauge like how into it and excited I was. And like, yeah, there's a couple ones that I just watched that I'm like still thinking about and like interested in over this one.
And for Jason X, for me, if we go back to it, it's a fucking trap. This is a fucking terrible movie. This is like for all that it's like funniness that I find funny and mildly entertaining and shit. It's not a good movie. It's like how this got made is fucking like insane. But
in the budget, it has one of the biggest budgets out of all of them.
That's crazy. It looks like cheap as shit. The CGI is the worst CGI I've ever seen. Wait, we talked about both those movies. Should we go to the next one?
Yeah, let's just hop to the next one. And this one actually really surprised, and I'm kind of like, actually, I want you to show yours first, because like this is still kind of a toss up what I'm tossing up next.
Okay.
So you show yours first. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do.
Yeah, there we
go. So here's a fun thing. I'm a big fan of all the '80s Friday the 13th, right? Big fan of that. It has like, I don't know. It just does it for me. But the one thing that I never did was watch Jason Goes to Hell, because throughout my whole fucking life, everyone just said it's a big piece of shit and don't watch it. It's one of the worst ones. And so I also didn't actually, I had it on VHS, but when I got the Blu-ray for it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pop it in, obviously. I'm going to watch that one. And I thought it was going to be like a lot of the post 80s Friday the 13th. I wasn't going to like it all that much. I fucking really liked it. I don't know what people like huge issue with it. I get that it, like, there's things that I really wish they didn't do. I wish they didn't focus on the origin side of things as much, explaining Jason. And I also wish that Jason was in it a little bit more before, like, body snatching people or some shit, or maybe he didn't body snatch anyone. He was just going after the baby the whole time. Like, that would have been a lot better. But the thing that surprised me most, this has probably the best practical effects out of all the Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Probably has the best.
Yeah, no, it some of the best kills, I think. Like, yeah, brutal kills. And another thing too, it's just fucking weird. That's what I like about it. It's just weird, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's very meta. It knows that it's ridiculous for any franchise to have 9 fucking movies.
Yeah.
You know, and it tries to explain. It actually, like, the guy who directed it loved horror movies. That he wove Jason into, like, Evil Dead. Like, he got the Evil Dead book, and that's how it, like, explains, like, the book of the dead.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know,
Yeah.
So I like it for, like, how fucking out there and batshit crazy it is, and kind of how creative it is. And that's why I don't hate it as much as everyone. I mean, it makes a lot of fucking weird decisions. I wish there was more Jason in it, like you said. I wish there was a lot more Jason in it. I think if they had, like, I feel like if the body snatchers thing, and then maybe people, like, turned into Jason, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or something
like that.
Like, I feel like this movie could have worked even better if it wasn't a Friday the 13th movie. If this was just like a body horror film or something like that, of just some demonic serial killer coming back and possessing people through this fucking weird snake thing that he has in his mouth, that, like, would work. But I get why people shit on it as a Friday the 13th movie, because it just does, for one, it's not really, and it tries to be a little bit too smart trying to explain the origin things. And also, I think too, with Jason X, we also didn't mention, with Jason X, David Cronenberg's in it.
No, David Cronenberg's in fucking Jason X.
Jason X. And he's like,
Jason X was the makeup artist for David Cronenberg's all his films.
Yeah, and he had some influence on Jason Goes to Hell too, I'm pretty sure, as well.
Yeah.
Because it also at weirdly times feels like a Cronenberg movie, like when the, like, thing comes out the mouth and he's like, the guy's deflating and, like, melting and shit.
There's so many weird scenes too, like when the guy's, like, breaking his fingers, like,
yeah, like he has to pay the toll to get information, and it doesn't make any sense.
Or the bounty hunter character just in general.
Yeah, it
or
wasn't needed.
When Jason is, like, shaving the dude.
Yeah, but also the kill where he slices the chick in half was fucking super sick. Yeah. I love that. I love the guy that's, like, deflating out. That was really cool. And there's also a lot of weird slow-mo scenes in this one. I don't know why they put in so many slow-mo scenes.
Yeah. And it also has the iconic, the glove at the end, the Freddy's glove coming out and taking.
Yeah. That's because, again, they've been trying to make Freddy vs. Jason since actually Jason Takes Manhattan wasn't supposed to happen. That was supposed to be Freddy vs. Jason, but I don't think the cinemas could line up. But let's roll into the next one then. So 3, 2, 1. Boom. We're fucking kind of on a roll here.
Yeah, we're all
right. This is all right. So, yeah, I didn't know, like, which one I wanted to put for, like, before Jason Goes to Hell.
I had the exact same problem as you. I think now that I think about it, I might put this one behind if I had to.
It's like, it's really, I think the only reason why it's kind of ahead, it's not even, what makes this movie is not even Jason or Friday the 13th at all. It's just classic Freddy. It's Robert Englund's last time being Freddy, and he's just like he's just in full mode. And also, I haven't watched that movie since it came out, so since I was younger, because, again, I'm kind of a nerd and I just like the originals, so I don't watch the newer ones. But when I watch this again, I'm like, wait, this concept actually really works. Like, no one gives a shit about Freddy anymore on Elm Street, so he comes and wakes up Jason to go scare them into it, and he won't leave because he loves killing kids, and so, like, he has to take them out. Like, that actually works. And I wish it was made in the 80s. If it was made in the 80s, I felt it would have been so much fucking better, because it has, like, the 2000 luster to it, right?
That 2000 vibe, which is not that great. It's got fucking Kelly Rowland, who's like shit. It's got the one girl. It's actually filmed in Vancouver, and it has the main actress from the movie Ginger Snaps, which is like a famous horror movie.
Yeah.
And she's in it, which is actually kind of cool, and I really dug that about it. But it's also, I think it struggles with who's the main character of that movie. Who's the main? Is it the blonde girl? I guess it's the blonde girl, right? But it kind of could have been Kelly Rowland too, at certain points. Or
it's supposed to be the blonde girl and the guy in the guy in the mental institution. I think it's supposed to be them too. But actually, I think the main character is really supposed to be like Jason and Freddy,
right?
Just fighting, right?
And
but that's the whole thing. It's kind of confusing in that sense, right?
My biggest like critique of that Freddy versus Jason is that it's spending a lot of time like leading up to try and get Freddy and Jason together and fighting and stuff like that. But people just want to see the Freddy versus. I think they should have spent more time just like those two like going at it and stuff, and less time with a story of like, who cares about the chick's father? I don't give a shit.
Yeah. That side plot of the guy witnessing the mom, he's in the mental institution.
That shit. Like you don't need that story. You don't need that much story. People want to see Freddy versus Jason. That's what they want. They want to see cool kills, and then you can have. That's what Jason movies have never been about, like the story. Friday movies have never.
No, that's not supposed to be. And that's like the one thing that I will say. Like at least they like still. I feel also it didn't help it that it was stuck in that production hell for so long that they had maybe too much time to work on this fucking movie. And also the early 2000s didn't help with it, with how kind of horror films were made then. But it was like a massive success. Like it was like it did really, really well. It was probably the most successful one that's come out.
I saw it and I was like, my friend's mom like snuck us in.
Yeah. And I do agree. Like, probably should have spent a little bit more time just like, Freddy battling out with Jason. I did love though how every single time Jason would like kill someone and Freddy would just get so pissed. He's like, "You're supposed to go fucking back to Crystal Lake," and he's getting like so mad at it. And also, like this might have a difficulty making it today, even though it's only from like 15 years ago, a little bit more, because it gets real rapey and racist at the end. I think.
Oh, dude.
Freddy's
hard F, not the fuck word.
And also
another one.
Freddy said to Kelly Rowland, "I prefer dark meat and shit." And Freddy also tries to molest that one blonde girl with his scissor hands there, right? And
then also there's the scene when the girl from Ginger Snaps is passed out in the cornfield. That guy.
Oh yeah, and that guy's like raping her and shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was like watching, like, oh shit. Yeah, I'm like, I don't remember this part, but yeah, I know that. I don't know. It's honestly the only reason why I actually really enjoyed it was just because of Freddy just tossing out the bitches and making some cool jokes.
I do want to say too, though, that movie's directed by this guy named Ronnie Yu, who's like a famous kind of like, not even that famous actually, but like he's mostly a Chinese director, and he made this movie called The Bride, the White Hair in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Wuxia film. It's like super action packed. It's a fucking great time. So if you ever have a chance, The Bride, the White Hair. Let me tell you.
Bride with the white hair. All right. So the next one, we're probably going to start agreeing a lot here, I think. So this is where are we at right now? So there's 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. This is seven. So seventh pick, new blood. There we go.
Dude, how the fuck? We're pretty much on like. I mean, you were wrong about Jason. We're pretty close on these guys. How crazy is that?
So I also like I've never been a fan of A New Blood because I don't like how supernatural and the telekinesis shit about it, and we'll get to that in a second. But I did bump it up the list a little bit because I realized when I watched it this week and I was sober, for the first time in a while watching it. Tina, the main girl, is probably my favorite Friday the 13th babe ever.
Right. She's babe for one. Fucking great. She's just good. It's also, I think it's just fun, man. This Carrie-esque girl versus Jason, and all the acting. This maybe have the worst acting. Maybe Jason X might have the worst acting, but this has the second worst acting. But it does have the best hair, hands down. The hair in this movie is insane. The plot, though, like the ending doesn't make any fucking sense. The dad coming out.
Well, it's trying to pay like maybe homage to like the first movie. I don't know. It's so stupid.
For me, this was one of those so bad it's good ones, I think.
Yeah. I was just honestly like, I just fell in love with Tina the whole time, so I was just watching that. I don't even know, like, I don't even know if it had that many good kills. Well, yeah, it had the sleeping bag kill, I think.
I think the sleeping bag kill.
That's not it. That's in Jason Lives. But this one had the sheriff getting folded in half, which was sick.
Yeah,
that was a good kill. And actually, the sex scene in the RV and him driving the chick like getting tossed around everywhere.
That's Jason Lives.
Is that Jason Lives? Fuck,
that's
man.
Jason Lives, dude. This one is all takes place in that one house. It's just a
in that one house. It's the it's the party one. Yeah,
it's the party one. It's the party one
at the
one girl's a bitch.
Yeah,
and she likes her boyfriend, and they're all. It's like two cottages. It's kind of a similar premise as chapter 4.
Okay.
With it's just psychic. There's not a whole lot to really look.
And that's why I forgot, because I was just looking at Tina.
But I like it because it's a lot of fun. Okay, and it's so stupid. It's fucking dumb as shit. But I had a lot of fun watching this one. And it's not. Is it the best one? No. But the main girl is great, and I actually wanted. I want to see more stuff that she was in, but she wasn't in a whole lot of shit. So.
Yeah, but because I'm already talking about it a whole lot.
Oh no, we're gonna differ here.
Jason Lives. Yeah.
We're gonna differ. I'm doing number 3 here.
Yeah. So so Jason Lives again. The one thing that honestly is always annoying me about this film, and it stuck with me through the years, that whole paintball scene and shit at the start is just, it fucking puts me in a bad mood, and I fucking hate it. And even though there are some funny kills in it, though, like the happy face.
Why is the paintball? He knows the paintball people.
I know, but it's just like the music behind it. It's just so like corny, and it just like puts me in a funk at the start of this movie. But as I mentioned, it does have some like really good kills in it. The happy face kill, the sleeping bag kill, the dude getting folded in half, the RV scenes in this, right? You said so.
Yeah. Jason Lives, man. We're gonna disagree pretty hard on this one, because Jason Lives to me is one of the better ones. It's fucking action from beginning to end, man. It's when they fully embrace that Jason was this super natural entity, that he wasn't just a guy that just like survives everything. No, this like, right from the beginning, it's like the old horror movies of the past. He's in a grave, he gets shot with lightning, and comes back to
life. It was good. That was sick. Yeah,
you know, and he's just this killing machine, and it's just a lot of fun. Like, one of my biggest complaints about these movies is that it sometimes like it starts off really slow, but this one just like gets right fucking into it. And that's why I like Jason ones a lot. For me, you go. No, you go.
No, I just don't have as much of a personal connection to it as the other ones, and like especially with part 3, I'm just gonna let you talk, because I'm not gonna talk about it yet until it's in my list, because that's like one that actually means a lot to me. So I'm not going to comment on it just yet. I also don't think you fully experienced Jason 3 yet. I have the 3D version in the Anaglyph 3D, and that's obviously one thing that you need to experience. But there's also other things why I really like it. But
that is true. I watched this not in 3D. I watched this in 2D, and there's a lot of scenes in this that would have been cool if I was seeing it in 3D. Mm-hmm. But there's also a lot of things that are just like, oh, look, it's 3D.
And that's what I love about it. That's what I love about it.
And it's just like so obvious and that was kind of distracting for me, to be honest with you. Though I will give this movie like major props. This is the movie where Jason gets his iconic hockey mask. This is the one. He doesn't have it in the first one. He doesn't have it in the second one. This is the movie he gets it in, and that's where it gets points, I think, for me. It's pretty good. It's just, I don't know. I was just distracted by it.
Do you also know how they decided on the Jason mask?
No.
So I have to put like a fact check sticker on it to make sure this is right, but I'm pretty sure this is right. So because I think this is what, in '83 this one was made, and 3D. 82. 3D wasn't like a big thing. I think there's only a handful of movies that maybe had it. I think they felt that the Friday 13th series needed a little bit of a gimmick, a little bit of a boost to get people to come back. So I don't think the second one was as successful as they thought it was going to be. And they saw that a recent movie had 3D, and it kind of had some popularity to it. And so they brought the 3D into this. But it was very early technology, the Anaglyph 3D, the red and blue, very, very early in that technology. And it was a pain in the ass to film. They didn't know how to film into 3D. So they were guessing a lot of the way on how to figure all this shit out. So when it came to giving him a mask, they hadn't decided it yet, but because they had to film it in 3D, they needed to do like a screen test or something like that. They needed to give him something. And I think it was one of the production assistants or something like that had a hockey bag there because he just got back from like hockey practice and he's a goalie and he just grabbed his goalie mask and that's how it was. Not even any thought into it.
Wow.
It was just like one of the most iconic villains of all time and the most iconic look to that fucking villain. I'm wearing the OG Wastoid party mask. And it was literally by fluke. And like I said, I'm going to fact check that, but I'm pretty like I said, usually when I watch these movies, I'm really drunk, but I'm almost positive that's it. That's how it was decided.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's cool. I do remember reading that it took them a lot of time to set up the scenes for this because the 3D camera was very like high tech for the time, so it took a lot of like trial and error to get the shots right. Also, this movie might have one of the first. That's not true, but. Incels caught on camera. That fucking guy who's like, nobody wants to fuck me. I'm gonna scare and kill people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It does actually have some sick kills, like the harpoon scene, especially like the Iniga 3D. It burns your eyeballs. It's so fucking hard to watch. That's why I want to watch the 3D version of the Show Factory one because I think it's in true 3D, like the new 3D. And so I want to watch it in that. But yeah, it's really hard. But there's some scenes that are really cool. That harpoon scene's actually awesome. And also, I think the other scene too is we'll have to talk about more because it happens a lot in the Jason films. But Jason loves hucking people through windows, man, and especially the early ones. And this one, I think he smushes the guy, the big meathead's brains, and hucks him through the window. And that's probably the thing I love most about Friday the 13th is seeing dudes get hucked through the window, dead bodies. Like he's just trying to.
We should make a compilation of all the times he throws someone out of fucking.
It's honestly the best. All right, we're in the top. We're in the top 5 now. We're in the top 5, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this pick. I think I'm gonna get a lot of flack.
I know what you're gonna
do. Because I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this for like the Friday 13th purists out there. But it's like my guilty pleasures. So my 5th pick.
That's what mine is.
2009 Friday 13th, the remake. But here's the thing. So everyone who's shouting right now at their screen, the 10 people watching this, chill out for a sec. 4 people watching this, chill out for a sec. So there's reasons why this is like I actually like this. So for one, it's like a guilty pleasure. When it came out, I was like, sometimes I don't want to sit there and watch like 1 through 4, and this kind of like matches like all of them up a little bit, right? But also a lot of remakes suck because they don't get what people love about the original, and this one actually understands what people love about the original, right? You just want you don't want it to be too smart. You just want it to be, cheap thrills, and I like to say cheap thrills and sweet kills, man. That's all you want out of it. And it's kind of sticks to that. It actually has really sick kills. It's got partying. It's got nudity. They do stupid shit. It's got the 2000s luster to it. It tries to explain how he gets through the forest so fast. Fuck all that bullshit. But it's actually really funny. It has a lot of funny scenes in it. But here's the big thing. Sometimes I think it has funny scenes in it. But the one thing that why I like this one is because sometimes I want to sit down and watch Friday the 13th, and some people don't want to watch the originals because they're losers and they don't like 80s movies or whatever else. And I like that I can put this on and they'll enjoy it, and I still get to watch Friday the 13th, and then I can enjoy it, right? But yeah, I don't know. For those reasons, like that's why I like this one. Also, they stick one kill where he goes through the deck into her brain and pulls her up, and she's naked or whatever, and then she slides off the machete. That's like one of the sweeter kills.
It's great. I saw this movie in theaters, and that was one of the only things I actually remembered about this movie was that kill.
Yeah.
But going back and revisiting it, I actually watched this one last night, and I think it's actually really well done, for what it is. And you're right, it does kind of bring all the movies together and take little elements from each one, and then kind of does its own thing where at this time when this movie came out, 2009, it was kind of this renaissance of horror in a sense where they're remaking a lot of these movies, but with a touch of like realism. Not that
like Evil Dead came out around the same time.
Evil Dead, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. There was a Kids on Massacre remake came a couple years before this, and it's the same director as this one actually. So there's like this huge thing where people were afraid. They're trying to make things like, oh, this could actually maybe happen. So they were trying to explain all the supernatural things in a way that was like explainable. You know what I mean? So and it has this kind of like it also kind of feels like Halloween remakes, like a Rob Zombie kind of
which I don't like those ones at all.
I think they're okay. I probably like them more than you. But one thing I like this movie. I have some major gripes about it. The one thing is Jason would never keep someone alive, ever. And
that defeats the purpose. Well, he keeps her alive because it's like reminds him of.
Yeah, but that would never. They're trying to humanize him. He would never.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking do that. There was no way in hell Jason Voorhees would keep someone alive and like chain them up and shit. As soon as that happened, I was like, what the fuck is this shit? And then all the main characters, all the guy characters in the movie were the biggest douchebags I think I've ever seen in my life. And I think they're supposed to be. But I also liked how they're all like, they show the New Jersey plates a bunch, and they're all supposed to be from New Jersey, but they all look like fucking California. They all have like shaggy hair, and they're like, they could be like models in a fucking Hollister. These fucking but yeah, anyway.
It for me, it also has like a high drink factor as well. The last time I watched this one, I was actually camping by myself, just like out tent camping. And I had just like my little tablet with me because I was just by myself. So I was having a fire. I'm like, I'm just going to toss on this movie because I'm a nerd and I like watching movies even when I go camping. And I was just like sitting by the fire with my tablet, shotgunning beers and watching this movie. And it's always a good time. And like I said, it's one that a lot of people who don't like older movies can come and enjoy, and you don't have to sacrifice on watching Friday the 13th.
That's right. You can put this one on for Code D'Amico, and he would.
Yeah.
But if you watch this, dude, you would love this.
Yes, but like I said, it's that. It's sometimes like I really like watching 1 to 4 in sequence all together because it just flows so nice and they're just great. But sometimes I don't have like 8 hours to like spend and so yeah, I like tossing this one on. But I know what.
That's one thing we should mention, that the 1 through 4 are all supposed to happen around the same time period. I think it's like one continuation. I think it's like Jason goes on a massacre for like 2 weeks or something like that.
Well, they obviously ripped off like Halloween a little bit from like the formula of 1 and 2 going back to back and stuff like that. I don't know if there's a gap between. There's definitely supposed to be, I think, a gap between 3 and 4 because in 4 he's searching for his sister, right?
Right.
So I don't know how.
Maybe it's like a year.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it is. And even all of them are. Even like 4 goes into 5, and 5 goes into 6. It's just also it's like it's not supposed to be 80s anymore, but everyone looks like they're still from the 80s, right?
Yeah. At a certain point, the movie's like, I'm like, what year is it?
Yeah, like I don't know what's going on.
They have no idea what's going on. Should we
go to the next one? Yeah. Go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. So. Now, this next one for me is going to be 3.
I have
1. That's fine. So here's what I'll say about 3, and this is actually a really good story. So Friday the 13th 3 was the first Friday the 13th that I've ever seen, and I saw it when I was young. It was probably late 90s. Go down to my local Video 99. They had like the horror section with all the old VHSs on it, and because we're young, me and my buddy, we can't rent like new horrors or anything like that, so we went to like the old one, and obviously we know what Friday the 13th is, and we know there's going to be probably nudity in it and killing and gory stuff, and it's a scary movie. So we grabbed that one and we brought it back to his place because my parents wouldn't let me watch that shit, and his parents were a lot more lenient. And we're watching it, and his mom came in and she started talking about her first time seeing this in the 80s because she was like a teenager in the 80s, and how she went and saw with her friends and how fun it was and scary it was, but they're also like partying at the same time. I think it was probably at a drive-in or some shit. And that's when I fell in love with it. I'm like, this movie is cool as fuck because you can go out.
His mom was hot. You thought his mom was hot. and you're like, oh fuck, if she likes this shit. And then she turned out to be Jason Voorhees' mom, and she tried to fucking kill you guys.
Yeah, but that's why like I really like fell in love with the series because she's like telling these stories, and I was like a nerdy kid. I'm like, yeah, if I watch Friday the 13th, then maybe I'll have friends that will party with me one day. And look at me now. I got like 5 friends that party with me watching Friday the 13th.
It's true. That's a great reason. I have the first one, and this is gonna some purists are gonna get really mad at me for this.
I don't think so, man. No, it's not.
It's a good one to start off. Like, it's a good one to start.
It's iconic. Like honestly, what they did with it set a whole new tone.
I think my biggest gripe for me is just the climax is literally an old woman fighting with a young.
Yeah, like how is she like hucking people around and chopping people up? And stuff,
it's a little. Yeah, if you don't know already, it's not the killer in Friday the 13th, the first one. It's his fucking grandmother, mom, and
they must have planned it out that way though. Like where like they're always going to bring Jason back. Like
no, they didn't. They didn't actually. It was supposed to be a one-off, and this is the biggest gripe to me about Friday the 13th. As a whole entire series is the first film. He's supposed to be a child who falls into the lake, and then a couple days later, he's a grown ass fucking man.
No, that happened. Him falling in the lake, I think, happened a couple decades before.
But didn't he die? He didn't. He's supposed to die, right?
Yeah, or something. Or he's like, but he's supposed to be superhuman. Or no. Here's what happened. He got pulled out. He was dead, and then his mom fed him a lot of Wheaties over his dead body over the years, and he bulked up, all that fiber and shit, and he's just a lovable guy he is today,
But she was still breastfeeding him. That was the problem. He was drinking that 50-year-old breast milk, and then
Also, with how big his head is, she definitely was drinking a little bit and smoking a little bit when she had him. You know what I'm saying?
If you ever, there should be like a montage too of all the Jason's different faces. See, that is one. He looks kind of like
he's Sloth a little bit in it.
He's very Sloth. He could be related to Sloth in the Goonies, to be honest.
But that's like and I understand what you're saying there. And just to go quickly transition to my top 3 pick because it's Friday 13th, and you don't have to show your top 3 pick yet, but just because I'm going to talk about it a little bit.
Right.
Like this is also why. I think Friday the 13th as a series is just so good because, like, I think well, at least in the golden era of like the horrors, they took like a really real scenario that everyone experiences that's already kind of terrifying in itself, and they added that horror element to it, so it felt really real and it just works. Like everyone goes camping, everyone goes to camp or cottages or whatever else, and especially back then. When you didn't have a cell phone and you're far removed from any civilization, you were like, there's like a level of already fear in doing that, especially happen at night. And they just added that, kind of this crazy killer hunting you down. It just works so well. Like, it's just the not as like the plot, but like the whole like backstory of Friday the 13th is just that's what makes the best. Also, even the shitty ones, they're such fun movies to watch with other people. And that's why I love the Friday the 13th series so much, is because unlike, like Nightmare on Elm Street, everything, like I love all of them, but like Friday the 13th, I don't know, summertime, tossing that on, it just hits a lot different. And it's so simple and you don't have to follow it, that you can be like hanging out and you can tune in and something fun is going to happen, especially with like the first 4.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree that they are good movies that you really don't have to be paying attention to. You can have them with if they're good when you pay attention to them, and they're good when you just have them on in the background with some friends and you're having beers.
Yeah, and that's also why I dislike when they stray away from that formula, right? Like I said, like cheap thrills and sweet kills. Like you want partying, you want some nudity, you want some kills, you want camping or something outdoors, cottage. And that's why, like, the Jason X of the world, like, go fuck yourself, right? I don't give a shit about you. Like, screw off. Like, that's not why I watch Friday the 13th.
So that's actually funny because that segues in my 3rd pick, and it's one that you had pretty low. But I didn't have
it low. I had it 6th.
Yeah. So this is my 3rd, and this is I don't have any nostalgia. I don't have the same nostalgia to the series as you. I pretty much watched the majority of them when I bought this box. I've seen the first one. I've seen the first 4.
Yeah.
prior to, but this one, watching it, I was fucking like thoroughly entertained. It's kills from beginning to end. I actually like the main girl in it too. I forgot we didn't mention that last time, but I think she's good.
Yeah, she's a badass. Yeah, she's driving the red sports car.
Dad cop, the cop dad. I liked him. He's like, you can't be hanging out with this guy. You know what I mean?
He's also like came out of a mental institution and has some mental problems, and she's just like making out with him all the time and shit.
Yeah, I know, because girls ride bad boys.
Yeah, she's got some daddy issues, I guess, right?
But I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this one. I think it does everything great. It's just a good like horror action movie. It's a good callback to horror movies of the past.
I will say when I watched it again, because I haven't watched that one probably in about a year, and like I said, it's usually I watch them in sequence, and usually I'm a little bit tuned at that point. It's 6, right? But I haven't always been a fan of those ones. But Jason Lives is warming up. I started warming up to more and more because it does have a lot of cool stuff, in it. And like I said, going back, like that one like cool guy in it, and like the whole RV scene is just so funny. He's just giving her and blasting the radio, and the chick's just like slamming around everywhere.
Yeah,
like I love that.
Has no nudity. It's the only Jason with no nudity, which probably makes it lose marks. But
yeah, I mean that's fine. It's just whatever.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like I don't know. I think it's like a rite of passage for some like kids like growing up. It's just like you go to movies and sometimes that's the first time you see nudity.
Back in the day, before the internet, there was you see movie. You see
yeah, that's it. I guess not now.
You see movies in Jason and Friday the 13th movies, or in the random forests, and where someone brought a porno mag and ripped it out.
Oh man, that's true. I forgot about those.
There would always be random porno mags in the forest. It's probably homeless people.
Yeah, they're so sticky all the time. Anyways, so
it's probably.
So we'll go to the top 2. We'll go to the top 2 picks.
Okay, so I wonder if we haven't, because we both have the same top 2. We know we both have the same top 2.
It's gonna be our top 1's the same. I already know it. So second for me is part 2.
This is
it's actually really good, man. I love it.
Really great. I think this one, if someone told me to like, if they said I want to watch Friday the 13th the first time, I would probably say go with part 2.
Part 2, yeah. It's really sweet. It actually has one of my favorite kills. The poor guy in the wheelchair just can't go and party, so he gets a fucking machete to the face and falls down some stairs. It's sick, but it's also hilarious. And also like it. I know like they got his mask kind of from like the old, like I think it's like maybe the first slasher that ever came out or one of the original ones, The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I actually just bought it on VHS and waiting for it. But the Town That Dreaded Sundown, the guy has like a potato sack over his head or whatever. And but yeah, that's obviously where you meet Jason and yeah, it's the thing. I like the progression from 1 to 4. Because 1 came out and they're like, oh wait, we're on to something here. And then the second one, they started introducing more of like the teenage like angst, like, partying and stuff like that and getting some more funny kills in there or whatever. And then they started to like get on this rhythm.
Yeah. For me, it took everything from the first film and perfected it.
Yeah. That's right.
Everything from that first movie, and it was like, okay, we have this basis. Let's make this better. And it's like it's actually Jason. He's actually this fucking Neanderthal killing people. The kills are better. It feels better, like lit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love the climax. The climax of the movie is so great when he's chasing the girl around. You see, he has his mom on his head on a fucking pedestal, and like it's like gross shit. There's actually some weird trivia in this movie where, not in the movie, but about this movie. There's the one girl. I watched the movie with Gemma, my girlfriend, and I was like, that girl looks fucking super young. And apparently, the one girl, they filmed a sex scene with this girl, and she was only 14 when they filmed the fucking scene, and they had a nude scene with her, and they had to like the studio execs say they burnt the film because they found out she was actually 14 years old.
Yeah, I mean, and also on this too, like that in the Shout Factory thing in the one DVD, they have the 40-year-old lost footage. So they have the 40-year-old lost footage there. So in this movie, the runtime was too long, and if you know all of the Friday 13s, they wanted a minute 30 or less, right? That's like the sweet spot.
30, yeah.
hour 30. Yeah, minute 30 is pretty quick. They wanted that, so it ran on, and so they had all this extra footage they cut out, and not only did not see the light of day, like one guy had this footage for the past 40 years, and I think it was I read this article in like this place called Lunch Meat VHS, which is this kind of other VHS community, and I think it was them along with some other people that found it out, got it. Show Factory made it in time to digitize it and put it in their thing. So I'm going to watch that when I watch 1 to 4 next week, or this week, sorry, for Friday 13th. But there's 40-year-old lost footage. I think it's about 10 minutes of lost footage. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if you've watched it yet or not.
No, I haven't watched any of the featurettes. I mean, I watched a couple because there's featurettes on each Blu-ray, so I watched a little bit. But then they have a whole bonus material collection.
That's so it's on here. So I think it's Tales from the Cutting Room Floor is where that is going to be in. I haven't confirmed it. They said it was going to be on here, so that's the main reason why I bought it. I also haven't watched a lot of the special features because I didn't give a shit about watching special features for Jason X and stuff. And the other ones, I didn't want to. I just wanted to watch the movie and I literally spent a lot of time with the rankings and stuff, so I didn't want to watch any of the special features. But for 1 to 4, I'm going to be watching a lot of them because those are my favorites. And then they have some cool documentaries on here too. They have the Return to Crystal Lake, the making of Friday 13th, which I really want to watch.
It's worth picking up if you're a Jason fan.
I'm really upset that there's not any posters. I thought there was gonna be posters. And stuff.
It did come with a poster if you pre-ordered it on the Shout Factory website.
That's what I saw. Yeah, it's kind of because the cover, all the artwork they did for it's so fucking awesome.
You can probably find a poster somewhere out there of it.
I also have so much Friday 13th.
It comes with a cool booklet too. It has the essays and stuff like that. It's got. We're talking about the head. There's the head right there. That's really exciting.
And there's also a Crystal Lake in Ontario that I want to go camping at and watch Friday 13th.
Ontario, the place to go.
But now we got number 1, which obviously is the only one that we got left.
Yeah.
Bump, bump. Yeah, fuck you.
What? I thought.
Yeah. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, it's part 4, final chapter. It's the best.
This is the best movie out of them all. Honestly, this is the best.
No, it's because it's
not just Friday the 13th movie. It's the best movie out of them all.
They have also perfected the formula. It's just like Dream Warriors with Nightmare on Elm Street. They figured it all out. They gave us exactly what we wanted. It's got everything that we need. It's actually got some big name actors in it too, which is sweet. Well, maybe back then they weren't, but now they are, and so it's kind of Crispin Glover and Corey Feldman.
Crispin Glover has the best dance scene I think I've ever seen.
Iconic dance scene in that. It's got a lot of cool kills in it.
Yeah, it has a good story too. It makes this is the first film that they really, I think, paid attention to the story, I think, because the first 3 films is there's not really that much of a story to it.
But even it also has the funniest ending of I just die. Corey Feldman shaving his head, coming down just like baby
he looks
Jason.
like a little cancer patient.
Yeah, he's just, oh man. And then he's just hacking. Oh fuck, I just smashed my elbow. He's just hacking away at him. Oh, I just cranked myself.
That's good.
Fuck.
That's good.
Anyways,
feel it.
But yeah, it's honestly I look forward to watching that one so much because it's just
the first time I saw this movie with you, maybe because we were talking the whole time, I was because
I was probably cranking beers and just doing my cackle and just yelling at you the whole time.
Yeah.
To watch that scene.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this one don't watch with a bunch of people first. Watch it by yourself and you think,
yeah, maybe not.
Also, maybe have a bunch of beers. I don't know. Great. Jason fucking dies in this one because it was supposed to be the final movie. They made this. It was that's why it's called the final chapter. They were there's going to be no more. But then it made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We can't end this shit. And then they made the 5th one, which is in the bottom of our list because it's trash. But
do you also know that in the Friday 13th franchise, all of them are profitable, man. All of them are profitable. Even Takes Manhattan. Because until the probably the 2000s, they were all super low budget movies. I mean, I don't think any of them exceeded $2.5 million, $3 million budgets, and they gave the audience what they wanted, and they all made fucking tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars each one.
It was because it was the 80s was the renaissance of horror. There were so many good horror movies.
Golden era of slashers and horrors, man. That's why I love it so much.
Just the big three. You had Jason, you had Michael, and then obviously Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
The three franchises were killing it.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of, like, my favorite kill from the fourth one.
We'll talk about the favorite kill of the fourth one. I was going to say your favorite kill overall in all the movies. People talk about the sleeping bag kill, which is kind of weird to me.
Sorry, which one?
The sleeping bag kill.
Yeah, well, like, my favorite kill is probably machete to the wheelchair, because, like, it just kills me. I also like, I think in 3, Big Meathead getting his brain smushed in and then hucked through the window. Like, I just die. But honestly, a lot of people say the best kill is Corey Feldman killing Jason. Yeah,
that might be my favorite kill. That's it. That one, because it's good, like, prosthetics, but also it makes you squirm when he, like,
because his head
it's slowly falling.
It goes down. Yeah.
My favorite kill that's not Jason I think it's strangely might go to Jason Goes to Hell, man. When
it does have really good kills.
Like there's like really gory. A lot of these movies, and I was watching a couple of the special features, they had a lot of problems with the MPAA really censoring a lot of these movies. Really like making.
And that's why I wonder if that would limited their creativity in the later ones, because they're doing like the cutscene kills, right? And not showing a lot of gore. But it's weird that they were getting censored a lot, but then you had Dream Warriors where literally a girl's, addiction scars were like clamoring for some heroin, We got
to do a Nightmare on Elm Street.
100%. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
It's fucking, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope Shout maybe someday releases a Blu-ray version of that. But anyway, we're talking about Friday the 13th. I have a newfound appreciation for the movies. I think they're a lot of fun.
It's just like I said. For me, it's the best because it has the best formula. It's like it's got things that you can connect to in real life, camping, cabin, whatever else, and that already has a certain level of fear into it. They add that element, and they just don't try to, at least for the ones that the 1 to 4, they don't try to be more than what it is. They understand that just got to give they pander to the audience like perfectly. Partying, kills, nudity, camping. That's what we want.
They're good popcorn flicks. You go and
exactly.
You watch and you turn your brain off for a bit and you have some fun. I think you can actually turn your brain on in the final chapter, because I actually think it's a legitimately good movie, like outside of the franchise. But I dug it. Friday the 13th. Jason X should be higher up, I'm thinking.
No, it's not. But what I'll do is I'll make sure to give you a couple of my anaglyph glasses in my Friday 13th 3D version and let you watch that. Warning, you'll be cross-eyed by the time the movie's done.
When we're all vaccinated up, I'll come over and we'll be 3D in it. Anyway.
Awesome.
I think that's it.
12-1. On lostvideo.com, I'm going to have them all, but I'm going to have my rankings and then this video there as well for your rankings.
Cool.